Network Studio, powered by Scott Tree Services.
This is On the Move with McAvoy. And now, here's your host, Carolyn McAvoy.
Hello, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce our guest, Cindy Hall from Future Builders of America. Cindy, welcome.
Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate you inviting me to be on your show.
Well, we're glad to have you. And I wanted you to tell everybody, what is Future Builders of America?
So Future Builders of America is part of a nonprofit organization. And what we do is we work with students to get them interested in careers in the construction industry. So we do that by putting chapters in our high schools, middle schools, and even colleges now. And we bring in professionals into the classroom to help mentor the students to get them interested in careers in the industry. There's a major shortage of careers right now in the industry. So we're doing our bit to get to our students and get them out into the field and get them working for the industry.
And Florida is the perfect state to do that in because there's just so much building going on, so much land. Okay. So can you talk about the types of trades that you're involved with and what kind of projects the students do or club members do?
Yeah, so actually every trade is involved when it comes to the construction industry. And so we're always looking for, we have the typical air conditioning, plumbing, welding, all of those, carpentry, all of those, but we're also looking for the more specialty contractors like the solar systems, PV systems, and
roofing. You've talked,
roofing. I have actually one of our students. She works for an architectural plastering firm, which, if you're not familiar with what that is, if you go to any of the theme parks and you see the facades that are on the outside of these buildings, that's architectural plastering.
Interesting. So
Yes.
It's very modern.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned solar.
Yes.
I think you've got something going on that way too, which is really neat.
Yes, so we did. So each year we hold what we call our annual leadership summit. It's a 4-day camp. We bring in students from across the state because FBA is a Florida state program. And they come in for 4 days of hands-on learning experiences in 14 different disciplines. And this year was one of our first new classes was we put in a 2K solar PV system at the facility.
That's amazing.
For edification purposes, it's about 60 feet by 30 feet. It's huge. And the kids got to install it. So that is a really big thing that they're not going to get in the classroom. That's what we're trying to provide our students, is experiences that they can't get in the classroom, due to constraints or training or whatever. So we're trying to really expose them to all the different careers that they might be able to look at.
And you have a big success rate with women or young women, which nobody ever thinks about with construction. Tell us about those statistics.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. So just for example, at our leadership summit, we had 90 students this year. Over 30 were girls, which is a very good number. Our graduation statistic actually from our girls is pretty high as well. I want to say probably over 35% of our scholarship recipients are girls. We also have several of our girls at the summit. Our students are evaluated by their instructors and team leaders on how well they do in leadership and participation and all of the skills that we're looking for our new and upcoming professionals. And out of our 12 students that were selected, 7 were girls.
Which is amazing.
It's amazing. And one of them was actually a 7th grader. So it's really interesting to see how women have really progressed in this industry. And quite frankly, not to offend any of our gentlemen out there, but women are really good with details.
And that seems,
And that helps, especially when it comes to custom home building and things like that.
And I've seen some of the people that volunteer with you, they're very energized. And I'm talking about the guys with businesses who you wouldn't expect to enjoy working with the kids. And tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's really great because they get to mentor these students and form relationships with them. So what we do in a typical club setting, so this is a club that's put into the high school. It operates like any other club in the high school setting. You have a teacher who's your go-to person. And then we put in an advisory committee from the local industry to help support the school. So they'll sit down and they usually meet like once a month. We'll bring in guest speakers. We'll get them out onto a job site. We'll partner them with different industries to go tour a manufacturing plant where trusses are built or something like that. Again, all experiences that these students can't get in the classroom, but our volunteers are absolutely amazing because they will come in and start working with these students, and then they see the passion that these kids have for this, and it just kind of feeds itself
and it's
into
fun.
It is fun, and some of these kids are so great, and they have such great ideas, and they're really interested in it. You know, it's fun when we go to the summit. I see all these kids arrive on the first day, and by the fourth day, they're completely changed. They are smiling, they're happy, they're made new friends, they've gotten a passion for something. So it's really very exciting.
And you're bridging the gap. I think you had spoke about the need for certain jobs, especially in Florida, but throughout the United States. What are those statistics with jobs? And
currently, right now, we need to fill over 723,000 jobs a year between now and 2030 to meet the industry demands. There's a workforce shortage that is incredible. The average age of a construction worker is 54 years old. And if we don't start providing
a pipeline,
skilled labor to fill that gap, we're going to be in serious trouble. And I'll give you a real good example. Right now, you might be paying $150 an hour for a plumber to come clear out your toilet because you didn't learn how to do that in school. In about 10 years, you're going to be paying $350 an hour for that same plumber, and it's going to be 3 weeks before they can get out there to you.
If this doesn't change quickly.
Yes.
But the other exciting thing is that you had mentioned this isn't even an alternative path. It is a need in our society for these jobs, and that these students leave you to own businesses and to have very lucrative careers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we do is, again, we partner them with the professionals in the field. And so we want these kids to immediately go out into the job field. In a lot of our schools, they utilize the curriculum from our parent organization, Home Builders Institute. It's called the PAC curriculum, and it stands for Pre-Apprenticeship Certification Training. So these students, when they go through these courses, they'll actually come out of school with certifications. They'll come out of school with their OSHA 10 training.
Amazing.
And then they'll also come out of school knowing people in the industry that can help them get their way in the door and into a job. You know, they don't need to go to college. Not every student is meant to go to college. And when 20 years ago we started pushing that everyone has to go to college, we lost the skilled trades. When they took the skilled trades out of the schools and they took shop class away, they didn't realize that they were eliminating the pipeline that we needed in this industry.
No, it sounds like a revolution is happening in a very good way.
Yeah.
Now tell us, it's not just the Treasure Coast where we are.
Mm-hmm.
Future Builders of America, how many chapters are there?
Currently, right now, we have 17 chapters throughout the state of Florida with another 16 that we're hoping to bring on board next year. So right now, FBA is a Florida program, but we are looking to expand it throughout the rest of the continental United States. We just haven't gotten there just quite yet. But it's a program that's been around for a very long time. And actually, this coming April in 2025, we'll be celebrating our 20th annual Leadership Summit.
It is like so amazing how much you've done, and that's a very short time. Tell us, for the listeners out there, what do you need? How can people that are listening help you and reach you?
Well, we need help from people in the industry. I need people, instead of saying, I don't have the labor I need, say, how can I help get the labor I need? Get into the classrooms, reach out to your local schools. If you don't have an FBA chapter, but they do have a construction technology class, put them in touch with me. I'm very readily available. My job is to go into the schools and set these programs up. So, getting into the classrooms, taking a couple of hours to mentor the kids once a month, that's what we need. Obviously, we always need money, but my biggest thing is I'd rather see professionals in the industry get out there working with the students.
And you have a couple of success stories with job placement.
We do.
More than a couple.
Yeah, I have several. But I'll give you a shout out to one of my local alumni. His name is Jose Hernandez. He graduated from Port St. Lucie High School in 2014. And he was actually one of our scholarship recipients, went to IRSC on a scholarship from us for engineering for the first, I think he went 1 or 2 years, and decided that wasn't what he wanted to do. So he left college, like so many other students.
Sure.
He left college, went to work for a painter for 3 years, and after that actually opened up his own company. And so now he actually owns his own company here on the Treasure Coast. And the builders that he works with keep him so busy that he doesn't have time to come back to the summit as the alumni instructor.
That's a good sign.
It is a good sign. You know, I have another one of my alumni groups. There's two brothers that graduated out of Bartow High School, and they took welding, and they went into the welding field. Actually, one of them went into engineering, again, scholarship recipient. They now both work for a company in Lake City, Florida called Swanee Iron Works. Aiden, who is the oldest brother, he is 31 years old. He is the COO of a $2.5 million company.
Whoa, that's incredible.
Yes. And his brother, who is 4 years younger than he is, or sorry, 2 years younger than he is the lead project manager for some of their facilities. They build like the Amazon procurement facilities. So,
I mean, that's needed.
It's incredible.
You know?
I have another one of my students. She graduated from the Rinker School of Construction Management and went on to get her degree in construction management. And she is working for the architectural plastering company that I was telling you about as an assistant project manager. So the jobs are there. And there's so many opportunities for these students. And quite frankly, the need is so bad for labor in the industry that if you've got a clean driver's license and you can show up to work on time, and you know what a tape measure is, they will hire you at $20 an hour to start.
No, it's good. And it's good that we're talking about this today because there's somebody out there listening. It's either themselves if they're young, or it's a parent that says this might be an avenue for my child.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So what I would suggest, if their school doesn't have a construction technology class, reach out to your local home builders association to find out what schools do. See if they can accommodate a student either exchanging to a school. I know there's rules about that in between the counties, or even just being able to participate in club activities. We've had that happen before. You know, and we also partner with, it's not just schools. We also partner with organizations that help disadvantaged youth.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So one of the organizations here locally on the Treasure Coast that we work with is called Project Lift. And they work with young people that have had challenges with either mental or substance abuse, and they're being redirected into new career pathways through psychotherapy and through training. And so we've partnered with them because, in my opinion, these students are the ones that need these jobs the most, and they're the ones that really need to see what a great future they can have just by having a career in this industry. I bring these kids up to the summit, and they'll arrive and they'll be very, very quiet, very withdrawn. They won't, don't want to participate. They're looking down at their hands. By the end of the weekend, there's a light in their eyes. And some of these kids have never even left their hometowns. So for them to leave home for 4 days and come out and meet with these professionals and participate, it is amazing what these kids can do.
It's great. Now tell us about the history. Where did Florida Builders or Future Builders of America. I've got Florida on my mind.
Yeah. We were actually started by the Florida Home Builders Association back in 2004 to address the labor shortage from Hurricane Andrew when it wiped out most of Dade County. And we were started as an organization run strictly by volunteers, kind of lingered along over 6 or 7 years. And then, of course, the downfall took place in the construction industry.
Sure.
I was actually introduced to Future Builders of America in 2014 when I was asked to participate in the summit as a team leader when someone had to drop out. I was asked to go because I've been a Boy Scout leader for over 30 years and worked with kids.
Okay, that's the secret there.
Yes.
Sure.
So that's always been my passion. And so I was able to go to the summit. I saw it and I said, oh, wow, this is really interesting. And then in 2015, I was actually a senior officer for Florida Home Builders Association at the time. And at 2015, I asked them if I could have oversight of Future Builders of America. And I actually took over as chairman of the summit that year. And 2016 came around and they decided they wanted a management change. And I said, I want the job. So fortunately, I had my own business at the time. So I was able to take on getting Future Builders of America back up and running. We went from 4 chapters to 27 chapters within 2 years.
Wow.
And then COVID hit.
That hit everybody. That was
we
tough.
basically had to start all over again. So, and that's what we're doing. We're rebuilding now. So, but my goal is to have a chapter in every CTE related school in the state. And so I'm hoping one day we'll get there.
I am sure you will.
Mm-hmm.
And just tell us what inspires you. I mean, every day I see that you're passionate about it. What keeps you going, and what are your goals for the organization besides the growth, but other ways?
The kids keep me going. To see the looks on their faces when they complete something, or when they've done something, or when they come back to me. Okay, I'm going to get a little teary here. My young gentleman, Jose Hernandez, got married last year, and he invited me to his wedding.
I mean, that
And I
says
was
it
like,
all.
oh my God. I was like, Jose, it's too expensive. You really, and he said, no, you were part of my life. I want you to be at my wedding. And that to me was so powerful. And if I can touch one person or one student to get them involved in a life-altering career, and that's what it is. This is a career. It's not just a job. It's a career. Is it hard in the beginning? Yes, it is. It's hard.
Right.
You're going to pay your dues. But if you work hard enough, I'm telling you, I see so many success stories in this industry. And, you know, it's the backbone of America.
It is.
We've
Everybody
got to keep-
forgets.
yeah, it is. So-
And I've heard you say this, that you not only teach them the construction skills, but soft skills.
we
What
do.
is that like in your program?
So we do spend a lot of time on soft skills because that's not being taught in the schools anymore. So actually at the summit, we have what we call our business etiquette class. And we actually have this class. It's the very first thing they do when they get to the summit. And they'll literally sit down to tables with fully plated meals with all the utensils. And we'll go through everything from what do you do with those utensils, because most of them don't know because they don't sit down to family dinners, to how do you conduct yourself on an interview? What do you do in a networking situation? Where do you wear your name badge? When do you give out a business card? How do you handle yourself on social media? Because in this day and age, any prospective employer is going right to your social media feed.
Sure. If they want to know who you are,
Yep.
what
they're-
you're presenting as
Yes.
anyway.
And so we talk with our students about that quite frequently, and that sets the expectation for the rest of the event. We also do things with them for speaking skills. One of the evenings we do what we call our marketing plans class. And so each team is given a tool, and they're given an hour and a half to come up with a presentation. And every student on their team has to have a speaking role. They have to have a job. They have to have a company name. They have to tell us what their tool is for and how much they're selling it for. And then they have to do a presentation in front of the entire camp. And the reason we do this, and this goes back to my scouting days, Baden Powell always said scouting was a game with a purpose. And that's exactly what we do with our marketing skills. And what we tell the students is, you were just trying to sell a product to us. When you're on a job interview, you have to know how to sell yourself.
Excellent. That's
And
so true.
so that's what we're trying to teach them with this exercise. Don't be afraid to tell them what your skills are and what you're good at and how you can help the company, and research that company so that you know how you can be a great asset to that company. So those are some of the soft skills that we teach the kids.
Really amazing. Amazing. Hard for me to speak today. Cindy Hall, you are a treasure.
Well, thank you.
So what else can you tell us? What, every day when you get up, what's like your day like most days working with the organization?
Oh my gosh, it just depends. I never have the same job every day. We're 3 weeks out from the summit, so I'm still wrapping things up from that. I do a video production on that. I'm sending out my thank yous to our sponsors because it's a very expensive event to put on. So that's what I'm working on now, but I'm also working on, we have a design competition in July at the Southeast Builders Conference where our schools will be coming to bring projects that they're building this year as outdoor kitchens. So they're bringing projects to design and build that they've built, and they'll be judged. There'll be cash prizes. So I'm working on that. I'm also, I'll be heading to Washington, D.C. next month for annual meetings at the national level. So I'll be working on rolling out those plans as well. So there's always something going on.
Tell us about that, and how do you interact? And I've heard you talk about the national level. What does that mean? And it's giving you something that you're actually bringing to the local level.
Oh, absolutely. So all of our FBA chapters are also student chapters for the National Association of Home Builders. so that allows them to compete at a national level. So last year was the first time we took 2 schools out to Las Vegas to compete against other schools across the country. Fortunately, neither one of them competed against each other. I was thrilled. The one school competed in construction management against 6 other schools. They took home the first place trophy.
Amazing. That's
And
great work.
The other school competed against 4 other schools. They took home 3rd place in architectural design. And then this year, I had 4 teams go out. My 2 returning champions and then 2 new teams went out this year. It's an amazing event for these kids, and it's really hard. They're given a project. The project is released in August, and they don't have to have their presentation done until December. But for instance, this year's project, they had to design and build a home on the side of a mountain in Park City, Utah.
Oh my gosh.
And so that's great for other kids that live in states that have mountains, but we don't have mountains here in Florida.
No.
So the students literally had to call realtors out in Utah, and they had to call the building departments, and they had to call geotechnical people. How do you build a house on the side of a mountain? And these were all things that these kids had to learn, and then they had to be able to present it in front of professional builders in the industry and, define what they had done and defend why they chose the things that they chose. And it's a really fascinating thing to watch. So I encourage anybody, if you're out at the International Builders Show in Las Vegas in February, stop by and see the student competitions. They're amazing.
It truly is the work you're doing. And, hats off to you. It's really a great job.
Oh, thank you.
So thank you again. And one more time, if they're trying to find you, you have a website.
Yes, our website is futurebuildersofamerica.org, or you can reach me directly at cindy.hall@hbi.org.
Excellent.
That's a great way to reach me. I'm traveling a lot. I don't deny it, but, reach out to me, and I'm more than happy to sit down and talk with you about what we can do.
Well, thank you very much. That's another show with us at McAvoy Real Estate. We're wishing you a great Memorial Day weekend, which is coming up early this year, and we will see you next time.